Hello, everyone. Welcome to SMathHacks 2026. All right, it's been a long journey here, and we want to welcome you guys. Thank you guys for all coming this morning. And this will be a great two-day event, so I hope you guys are excited. So personally, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Ishan Joshi. I'm one of the directors on the Morganton campus.
And I'm Avika Guerra. I'm also the co-director on the Morganton campus.
All right, and we'll quickly get started, so this won't be too long. Okay. Check. Yeah. Just a second. We will get started.
That won't work.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go. So I'll let Avika start.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. So this is just a quick synopsis of our opening ceremony. We have our opening remarks delivered by Ishan and I. Then we have our keynote speaker, Mr. Michael Martine. And then we'll have a quick Q&A session before you guys can start working.
Okay, sounds good. Next slide, please. All right, so I want to say thank you. Oh, get back. I just want to say thank you to all the team that's worked extremely hard to make sure that this event was possible. So me as a director on Morganton, along with Avika, in addition to our faculty sponsors, which include Ms. Eggers on the Morganton side, big round of applause for her. Yeah, and additionally, Mr. Michael Dargenio on the Durham side, so big applause for him as well. And then our great CS chair, Mr. Brian C. So a great applause for him as well. All right. And this is in addition to the countless volunteers and leadership team members that we have. So if you see on anyone's name tag that they're a leadership member, if you're a leadership member, please stand up now to be recognized. All right, just another round of applause for them as well. All right, so these guys have worked tirelessly to make sure that this event was possible, and we just want to continue our gratitude to them. All right, so we'll continue now.
We also wanted to say, sorry, the slide skipped, but thank you to our generous sponsors for making this event possible. It requires a lot of time, donations, funding, and this continued support is what makes us be here, and we really want to thank them. And the next slide, Ishan's going to kind of go through our specific sponsors.
Yeah, for this year, we want to specifically thank Cisco, Jane Street, Jane Design Studio, Google, HRT, which is Hudson River Trading, UBS, CityPlat, NC Innovation, LabCorp, and of course the NC School of Science and Mathematics. So thank you guys all for supporting us. And without these sponsors, really SMathHacks would not be what it is today. So a bigger round of applause for them as well. Yep. All right. Next slide, please.
So what is SMathHacks? I don't know if some of you guys are returning students or this is your first year doing it, but SMathHacks is NCSM's annual student-led hackathon. We bring together students across Durham, Morganton, and online. And this year we have, I think, 150 participants. It's a 36-hour innovation sprint where teams design, prototype, and pitch solutions to real-world problems across multiple of our 4 tracks. It's a place to learn, experiment, and collaborate with mentors, workshops, prizes, and a community.
All right, next slide, please. All right, so this year we have 4 main tracks. So these tracks, as you may understand, will give you guys a chance to really explore a topic that maybe you already have expertise in, or maybe a topic that you don't really have expertise in already. And these tracks are hardware, interface design, data science, and AI machine learning. So if you guys are interested in any of these tracks, feel free to reach out to a leadership member to learn more. And under each of these tracks, there will be 3 overall winners. So a total of 12 winners overall, and I'm sure you guys will all do a great job. In addition, for a hardware on the Morganton side, we have things for you guys to check out. And I'm sure on the Durham side, there is that as well. So please look at the name tags and look for someone with a leadership name tag, and they can help you with the hardware specific sections. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. And also more information on the tracks is also available on the website. So smathx.ncsm.edu.
Also, speaking of the website, we do have our schedule on there. The schedule kind of entails everything you have to go, where the required sessions are, and where everything else is. So our official adjourning begins at Saturday, March 14th, 8 a.m. And then we're going to end Sunday, March 15th at 7 p.m. or approximately 7 p.m. So we have 2 workshop sessions required today, and then one workshop session required tomorrow. And we have online workshops and we have in-person workshops, and you can decide which one you want to attend. But you do have to attend one session or one workshop per session at least.
So quickly, I'll just go over the Durham location info. So food and co-working will be in Woolworth. There'll be in-person Durham workshops in the Dry Lab, and zooming into Morganton is also available for both of our workshops today. So if there's ever any time that the workshops are not available, please zoom into our Morganton workshop during that time. And these links will be available to everyone. Next slide, please.
Okay, now for the Morganton specific location info. So food and co-working will be at the AC Stairs/AC Commons. So right here, we have about half of the study rooms upstairs booked for you guys. It will just say a sign saying reserved for SMathHacks, so feel free to work in there. We have in-person workshops at the Fab Lab in AC 2102, which is the physics classroom, I believe. And there's also, I think that's supposed to say Zoom into Durham, but Zoom into Durham at the Fab Lab.
Yep. In addition to this, we'll have our physics classroom. So everyone point to the physics classroom quickly. So that's where we're gonna have one of our workshops, and on the other side will be our overflow rooming, so that you guys can go into there if there's an additional need for more if there's an additional need for more seats on the Morganton side. All right. So next slide, please. So yeah, you can go this way.
So now we're going to talk about our virtual location info. So opening, closing, and Keynote at the Keynote will be Zoom. So it'll say Keynote Zoom, and the link should be shared. And the team formation and the co-working will be in the main Zoom. And then also there's a technical advising Q&A for our online technical advisors, and that'll be at the main Zoom, and then we'll put you guys into breakout rooms accordingly.
Yeah, so this experience is really designed to make sure it's as seamless for online participants as possible. So we really want to make sure you guys are feeling like you guys are really involved, because you guys are, and you guys will be a great addition to our SMathHacks 2026. All right, next slide, please. All right, so now to really just talk a little bit about our prizes and our track awards. So as you guys may see, we have some great prizes this year. And if you think about it, we have almost 12 overall categories, in addition to 2 special prizes that we are also giving out. So please, really try during this SMathHacks, because you guys will not only learn, but you guys will be able to really achieve and see what you guys can come up with. And these prizes could be rewarded very nicely. So some of these include, Sony headphones, NVIDIA Shield Pros. We have keyboards. We have, portable monitors, JBL speakers, and we even have, other things like that. So it's definitely going to be a great prizes. You guys are going to want to stick around.
And to clarify on the NVIDIA Shields, we have 2 of them and they're raffle prizes. So we track your continued involvement and participation across all of our required events. And then also there's a short feedback form that you have to fill out at the end, and that kind of enters you into the raffle.
Yeah, so next slide, please. So yeah, you can go this way.
You want me to do it? Okay. So now we're going to talk about our submission. So all submissions are due Sunday, March 15th at 6 p.m. These are some of the requirements. There should be a 3-minute demo and explanation video on YouTube, and you have to publish your own write-up on the dev post page. And all the guides are under resources, so you should be able to access everything easily. But again, student leadership's here to help you. We'll be dispersed around the campus, around the locations, and for online students. So if you guys ever need help, just reach out to one of us or to our technical advisors. And then the links to all the GitHub repos and the live sites should also be on there. And this is the dev post link if you also need it here.
Yeah. We'll stay on this for just a second. So if anyone wants to scan and just take a quick look, they can right now. We'll stay there for just a second. And additionally, during this time, I just want to recognize all the volunteers that have come on campus. So if you're a volunteer, could you please stand up right now? All right, big round of applause for these volunteers. Yeah, without them as well, this would not be possible. So I think everyone's good for the dev post. So we'll move to the next slide, please. All right. So you can talk about the feedback form,
Of course.
because you're a little bit.
So again, this is kind of an additional opportunity to win a prize, and we're doing 2 NVIDIA Shields. They'll be our raffle prizes essentially. And if you fill out the end of hackathon feedback form, which will be sent after the event, it's required for all hackers, and it will enter into a raffle. I think we're raffling away 2 or more shields, according to, I guess, demand. So please make sure you fill out that form.
Yep, and these are NVIDIA Shield Pros, and you guys will need to be making sure that you're attending all of our sessions. So whether that's the workshops and the opening ceremonies and the closing ceremonies, to be entered into this, in addition to the feedback form. So please, 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 these are great prizes. I don't know if you guys seen NVIDIA Shield Pros before, but they're really cool, and they can do a lot of. They have very good capabilities. So yeah, move to the next one. Next slide. All right, so if you guys need help during any time during SMathHacks, you can email our smathhacks@ncsm.edu, and someone on the leadership team will be able to reply to you. So whether that's needs, with finding, a workshop or maybe in a problem with the Zoom link or anything like that, anything that arises, please, please, please reach out to smathhacks@ncsm.edu, which is our email, and please put in the subject line what the issue is, so we can get back to you guys as soon as possible. So please be checking your inboxes. If you guys additionally are on campus, so on Morganton, we'll be right over there near the AC Commons area to answer any questions that you guys may have. But if you guys are in the Durham campus, there'll be a separate area which Caroline will outline, and she's the director on the Durham campus. All right, so now I will introduce our keynote, which is Dr. Michael Martine. So Dr. Michael Martine has had years of experience in the technology industry, and he currently is, working a lot with technological products and, innovations in AI. So a big round of applause for him as he comes to be our keynote.
Thank you. All right, we're going to just take a minute to kind of get everything set up for the presentation. And as we do, the first thing I'll invite you to do is, for those of you, wherever you're watching or listening, take the Keynote QR code or log into Menti. We're going to do a few interactive things here. And I'd like to say a huge thank you for me for the opportunity to come back and spend some time with all of you here for SMathHacks. And thank you especially for the promotion. I have always wanted to be a doctor. I'm not one. I did sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, so maybe that's why. I'm really, really excited to spend some time with all of you here. So if you've had a chance already to catch this Menti code, and hopefully you have, we're going to do some interactive things as we go along the path here. So the first thing we're going to do is, what is your favorite breakfast food? If you actually had time to go and get something for breakfast, on the Menti, you can give a word or two, and you can see there's a few that are here. And it's creating now for us dynamically and in real time a Wordle, a word cloud, where it looks like waffles and bacon are kind of in the hot race right now for what people like the most for their breakfast foods. And that we're going to do a few of these things as we're going out throughout the presentation. So this is a great start for us. And it looks like bacon, pancakes, and waffles are the faves. NVIDIA Shields, I like that. I don't think any of you really eat that for breakfast, but that's okay. So you can continue to add a few things here as we go, but I'm going to keep things rocking and rolling. My name again is Michael Martine. This is a picture from the Durham campus from a few years ago. You can see the unicorns, and for those of you in Durham, you'll hopefully recognize the Bell Pavilion that's right there, and or the entrance into Bryan, I should say, and Bryan right behind it. I'm going to be talking about leaning into the wind a bit and try to incorporate some of the nautical themes of under the sea into my comments and remarks about what is it going to take in this day and age to be successful in AI and to be successful not just in your studies but in the work world to come as you go forward. So my agenda is pretty simple. As we lean into the wind, I'm going to give you a little bit of my background beyond the quick introduction. I'll talk about the skills that are needed to excel with AI in 2026. So hopefully these are going to be very germane, very relevant for you right now. I'm going to speak very deliberately about creativity and humanity in AI and why that I think that is a differentiator and why it is a differentiator for us in the United States and in North Carolina specifically, and for those of the population that's online and watching that are fortunate enough to be affiliated with the North Carolina School of Science and Math, why you have an uncommon edge here. We'll talk about trustworthy AI very briefly. I could spend an entire half a day on that. We'll talk about chatbots and Gen AI and agents and algorithmic and agentic applications, which is kind of all the rage these days. a little bitty bit on AI security, and something called adversarial poetry. So for the humanities people in here, you're going to love that. We'll talk a teeny tiny bit about quantum, and then we're kind of wrap up with how do you get connected and what can you do. So a lot to cover in a super teeny amount of time, but I'm going to try to blitz through this as fast as I can because all of you need to get hacking, and that's the whole point of what we're trying to do today. So, hi, I'm Michael. This is a picture of me where I'm still involved with the UNC bands, and I get to play my sousaphone. That's that big old silver thing wrapped around me at basketball games on a time-to-time basis. My affiliation with the School of Science and Math goes back a really long time. I'm a member of the 6th graduating class of the North Carolina School of Science and Math, graduated in 1987, which seems like it's a really long time ago, and for many of you, it really is. For me, it was just yesterday. I was lucky enough to attend UNC, as I mentioned. I did my MBA work at the at Thunderbird, which is the American Graduate School of International Management, and maybe there's a doctorate still in the cards for me there somewhere. I'm inspired. I'd love to do that. Now, back to interactive. So if you pull up your mobile device or your laptop or wherever, where in North Carolina do you call home? So you'll be able to drop a pin somewhere in North Carolina. And as I understand it, the data that's being entered into Mentimeter is not going to be collected, harvested. It's not going to train an LLM, and you're not going to get email later. So this is just helping us get a sense of where in the state of North Carolina are all y'all from. And we can see that we've got a lot of people here from the mountains and from the area around Charlotte. We've got a few folks from Wake County. I don't see any Chatham County folks, a couple of people that are out, maybe outside of North Carolina that are participating. I did share the link with a few. Or maybe they are in Bermuda right now. That could be, who knows? So this is kind of fun. And again, I wanted to do some things based upon what was given, some parameters for the talk to keep you guys engaged, because I know it's a Saturday morning and probably many of you did not get breakfast and have your favorite breakfast food just yet. So thank you for playing along with me in this experiment. So a nice coverage of North Carolina as the whole. All right, moving along. To kind of understand me, and I'm not going to read through everything on every chart and every slide. I think it's sometimes really neat to know what are the motivations of a person. And I put this together several years ago to explain why is it that I do what I do and what leads me to the kinds of work that I feel is really important. And this is a nice summary here for me to kind of explain who I am and why I do what I do. And the next page kind of gives a perspective of what are the general areas that I'm seeing a lot of interest in. And I would say probably in the last 18 months or so, I've been spending a lot of energy around quantum physics, neurology, the study of consciousness, and a variety of other things. And if this were a lovely Apple Keynote presentation, you would see all these circles kind of move and model and kind of come together. But we're playing with Mentimeter today, so you don't get that little graphic, experience. They all come around AI in the end, which is kind of an interesting thing because all of these aspects play in one way or another around artificial intelligence and the work that's being done and has been done for a really long time. So I'm hoping, again, through my talk today, to give you some really pertinent, specific perspectives and advice of what will help you not just today for the hackathon and for the next 36 hours, but for the next 36 years as you're contemplating what you're going to do with your career. My high-level career path, when I started IBM, it was in the year 2000, which again seems like it was just yesterday, but I've been with the company since then, and I've had a variety of different experiences along the way. I've had opportunities to live outside of the United States with my family. We spent 2 years in Hungary, which if you ever get the opportunity, friends, to spend real time outside of the US, you ought to do it. I got to spend 1 year in Berlin when I was a student at the University of North Carolina, which was amazing. And the 2 years that my family and I got to spend in Hungary happened at a time when all the kids were old enough to remember and old enough to be influenced by a different culture and an outside-in perspective. So highly, highly, highly recommend that kind of thing as opposed to spending, a semester or a couple of weeks on a particular class in a particular nice location. It's real time, get involved in the culture. This picture, when I used to show it, is really kind of fun too, because it helps to highlight the fact that my hall in Durham, Third Bryan, which used to be a boys' dorm. For those of you in Durham, they're like, wait a minute, how are there boys there? It used to be a boys' dorm. You can see that there are 3 people there that from my hall that actually came to work at IBM. And there I am looking kind of tough in the middle of those 3 next to Jason Sullivan on my right and Stephen Roberts, who was my roommate, on my left. So we have lots of interesting connections, and the connections you make here with your colleagues, with your fellow students, whether they're in Durham or Morganton or online, some of them last a lifetime. In fact, I married my best friend as well, and so she's sitting here in the audience, and my daughter, who's a graduate of the school here from Morganton, is also watching online. So thank you, Lucy, for getting up early, despite the fact you had a long day at college yesterday. Some couple of fun facts about IBM. It's a big business. There are times when I get asked, so what does IBM do? And many people think about the PC computers, which was a long time ago that they were divested to Lenovo, which had continued that practice of making amazing things. IBM's involved in quantum, in artificial intelligence, in hybrid cloud, and I happen to sit in the consulting portion of this. And my team is a global team, and we write software to differentiate IBM services business for our clients. We use AI all over the place. We're doing some amazing things, and maybe you'll get some stories now here, as well as in the session, the workshop I'll be leading in just a little while. Linking it into the theme for today on IBM's webpage, there's some really cool stuff that we've done around AI and oceanographic exploration that might be worthwhile for some of you to take a little look at. The Mayflower project was a great example of an autonomous boat that sailed across the Atlantic, and IBM had some interesting involvement in these kinds of things, certainly with robotics, certainly with a number of the sensors and the data that we collect and are able to deploy for a variety of business and other uses is part of IBM's business too. So that gives you at least a framework about who I am and where did I come from. So now let's get into really the heart of the conversation about what kind of skills are needed to help you now. And this particular article was from January of 2026. So not very old, from a colleague that I've talked with and been on stage with before, a guy named Eric Brynjolfsson, about how AI has changed the world forever. And it's changed the world forever because of the workflows and how people are using AI to get work done. So when you think about how work gets done and the skills that you need, you may have heard something about this concept of a T-shaped skill. Have anyone heard about T-shaped skills before? Is this a new concept? A few people, so not many. So for T-shaped skills, what it intends to be is that you are broad in a variety of skills and you go deep in one skill, and that is your competitive advantage, right? So interesting thing, we've used this at IBM to help describe people, lead them on careers, and help them become the best architects or software developers or what have you. But that's really not enough. That's really not enough. Those broad skills and deep skills within a discipline are not enough in this day and age. So there's a concept of pie. So by the way, happy Pi Day, everybody, because that's what today is. And hopefully you will have something yummy and delicious waiting for you in the PFM or here in the cafeteria later on today. And if you don't, I'm sorry, I pre-announced something that it may not happen. Who knows? But happy Pi Day. So pie-shaped skills are kind of sort of like T-shaped skills, except it has 2 tendrils. And this is not exactly a new concept either. And it's one that when I thought about it, I kind of got to thinking, well, that doesn't really describe it well enough, right? 1 or 2 things, why 2? Why limit to 2, right? That's only, 1 times better than what a T-shaped skill is. So the one way that I've tried to explain this is through a short video. And again, this is something that maybe some of you have seen. The Matrix films have been around for a little while. And in the Matrix, Trinity, who's one of the characters, needs to learn how to fly a helicopter. And we're going to try to run the audio for this thing right now on this next page. So let's give it a go. It's like 25 seconds. We're going to see if it works.
Can you fly that thing?
Not yet.
Operator.
Tank, I need a pilot program for a B-212 helicopter. Hurry. Let's go.
So from that tiny little clip, the whole idea is that Trinity, the character, learns how to fly a helicopter safely and with all the skills that are necessary in that smidgen of a moment, right? Downloading those skills. Are we there yet? I think the answer is no. Are we moving in that general direction? The answer to me is absolutely we are, and we're going to be doing that faster and faster. So that kind of informed me to move from T-shaped skills and pie-shaped skills to what I've started calling jellyfish-shaped skills. And jellyfish-shaped skills, in my mind, have the benefit of having multiple tendrils. They overlap. I like the idea of the jellyfish top of it being kind of a brain. This fits within our theme for SMathHacks here for this year too, so that's kind of a lovely thing as well. And I started thinking about octopus and others, but that seemed like it was limiting as well. Why 8 instead of 2 or 1? So that was sort of where I was heading with the idea of jellyfish-shaped skills. So the next page that we're on here already is to help you understand that you are already on the right path. The fact that you got up, the fact that you registered, the fact that you're going to engage over the next several hours here to do something in this hackathon is an example of you getting the jellyfish-shaped skill practice that you need now and in the future. You don't know what you don't know. You're going to figure it out as you go in an on-demand way, in the way that is going to make the most sense. And then when you're done with it, you're either going to deepen that skill and expand it, and maybe it filters up into the brain and becomes more of who and what you are. Or you're gonna be like, yep, that's what I needed at that particular moment in my life. I flew the B-212 helicopter, and I'm not gonna fly that helicopter ever again. And that's okay. You're gonna move on to other things. So you're on the right path. And I'm gonna come back to that point again too, because the world is moving very, very fast. And you need to have the inner voice reminding you and giving you that positive reinforcement and feedback. You're on the right path when you're doing things like the SMathHacks hackathon or organizing the SMathHacks hackathon, because you learned an awful lot here, I'm sure, in the last week of things you didn't know you needed to know how to do, and it was just in time. All right, so we're going to see if we can continue to move forward here. So I think we're now in a mode of we need to reset that sucker. So we're learning skills on demand as we need them right here, right now. So click, click, click. And it's always good to have a fail-safe when you're coming back, from an experience like that. So the page that was just flashed up there for a second, if we go back just one, is now an important one to kind of drink in and think about for a moment about what are those AI related skills that are necessary to help you get where you need to go in terms of monitoring and managing a multitude of agents and how to do things that are beyond where we are right now. So your background in databases, what you're doing for test-driven development, what you're doing for good design, your general experience working with Olama or ChatGPT, those are all good and important, and you're going to need them. And don't let anyone tell you that you don't, right? Don't let anyone tell you that you can just vibe code your way to success in the future. That is a part of the puzzle, but it's not the whole thing. And you're going to see more about this in just a few minutes when we get to the agents and the agentic portion of the talk. So, oh, look, that worked. So click. Creativity and humanity and AI. So getting ready to do some interactive stuff again. So creativity and AI. Is AI making you more creative or less so? So if you go back into your Mentimeter, your handheld, or here, is AI making you more creative or is AI making you less creative? And I'm interested to see where you as an audience think this is for you for right now. So what's cool is we're seeing a lot of people on both ends of the spectrum, right? So we kind of have a very much a U-shaped curve going on here right now. People feel strongly that AI is going to make them more creative. People feel like AI is going to make them less creative. There are many examples of this in the press and in the media and stories that are easy to recognize. Like, if I were to say, raise your hand if you could say, without looking at your phone, your best friend's phone number. Could you do that? One person, maybe two. Durham, a couple people maybe. Yeah, so that's hard to do now because we've outsourced that labor to our phone that remembers it for us, right? Because it's easier, right? So the interesting part about creativity is the same sort of thing. With AI, you need to guide it and shape it. So I wasn't sure how I was going to predict where this was, but it's very interesting, the U-shaped curve we've kind of found ourselves in for creativity and AI. The picture that I've got up here for just a moment is the focus on literature, on architecture, on art. In the case in the middle there, there's a steampunk pumpkin. Gosh, say that 3 times fast. That was created on the Rose-Hulman campus over Halloween. All of these things are very creative, hands-on kind of experiences, and that's exactly what you're going to be doing here in the hackathon. So my premise around all of this is that this is an important aspect of the jellyfish-shaped skills and the capabilities. And if you consider just for a moment, why is there such a voracious appetite for large language models that need data? Why is that? And this is the part where the interactive is going to fail on us just a little bit. But my particular perspective on it for you is that large language models need data in order to be able to statistically predict what is the next logical word, note, visual image, etc., to be able to more adequately construct that generative capability for the future. And there are aspects of this that are inherently human. What I've put up on the board or on the screen for us right now is the design brief for Coca-Cola when they said, how do I want the bottle for Coca-Cola to be so that it could be created? And this is very much the same kind of prompt you would enter into a large language model, in a current world right now. And you may not get that iconic Coca-Cola bottle that in the dark, you could feel it and you would know if it was a Coca-Cola bottle or if it was some other random glass bottle of some other sort. These are important skills and important ways of thinking about the future and where to go and how to do it. I'm flashing up for you a set of survey responses that I gave to UNC, where as an alum, they asked me a little bit about creativity. They asked me a little bit about the humanities and more. And when I answered these questions, I screen grabbed them all and I copied them all because as I thought more and more about it, this is such an important aspect of the intersection of the arts and technology. Steve Jobs from Apple has written and said lots on this particular subject, and what he's said has really resonated with me too. You can't have the creativity you need, that level of insight and experience, without traveling, without reading widely, without being exposed to the arts, without having the deep sense of humanity and all the humanities, the food that you eat from different cultures, the languages that you learn how to speak that are not your own. All of these things frame up into something that makes you you, and that is an important aspect of what you have to bring forward for doing what you do to be successful in the world. If you've not heard of Ikigai before, this is a lovely Japanese framework that will help guide you in terms of things that you might want to do for your future. I will leave you to explore it on your own, because this is one of those things that, again, I could spend 45 minutes just on this chart, but it helps to say, what does the world need? What are you bringing to the world? How do you find the right intersection points for the things that are going to matter the most? Okay, moving along quickly, just for time's sake. Trustworthy AI. So I'm keeping this from being an all IBM kind of conversation, but IBM has done some amazing work around AI, AI ethics, trustworthy AI in general, and there are aspects of what we do in our business and in our work day to day that make an enormous difference for us. And I wanted to flash this up for you to give you a sense of where is this and what are the constructs and constraints that we ought to be thinking about as humans in the way that we interact with AI, how we keep the humanities and the humans in the loop for decision making, and that for the adoption of what we create, we have to create it in such a way that the people who are going to use the systems that we're creating are going to be motivated to do so, and they know they can trust it. So again, could go into this in a lot of great detail, but I wanted to showcase that from an IBM perspective. And I wanted to bring in a global perspective too. So the European Union has created an Artificial Intelligence Act that is being implemented stage by stage, and we're more than halfway through the implementation schedule of this. So every few months, a new element of this is kicking in. And what I have on screen for you here is just an extract from it around what is considered to be unacceptable risk in the European Union when it comes to AI. So you can apply this to things like your data model governance. You can consider how the data that you're scraping and from where you're scraping it, is it legitimate? Is it appropriate? Is it the right thing to do? Or have you been allowed to use the data that you're harvesting, collecting to train your AI model? All important questions to be thinking about as you're constructing yourself and into the future. All right, now here's where things are going to get really, really interesting around the notion of chatbots, moving to AI and into more of the agentic future. So back again to the interactive. How have you used AI this week? So it's a very short text box. Have you used AI in any form this week? Homework, searching. The answer is yes, I've used it, but I don't know what. Acronym crafting, some knows, codex, sports betting. What? Okay. That's interesting stuff. Claude, arguing about agnosticism. Okay, there you go. Anti-gravity. Love that. Whoever had that one in there, fantastic. When I was at Science and Math, I was the treasurer of the Gravity Defiance Club. That was our club. So we did anything related to frisbees or yo-yos or juggling. That was our club. Everything. Finding a prom dress. That must have been fun. So we're using AI a lot, every day, every week for quizzing you, after hours homework help, research, a girlfriend. Okay. I think we'll move off this page now before it gets a little too interesting. The evolution here, and there's pieces of this that I'm personally annoyed with, so bear with me for a second. Most of you haven't gone through the process of doing a car registration, right? But you will. And the North Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles has a chat experience to do this. And it's not really a chat experience. It knows already what you're going to do. I want to re-register my car. I registered it last year. I need to pay you the money. Just take my money, right? I just want to be done with you. I don't want to interact with you and have this fake conversation. Bugs the hell out of me. Generative AI is something that probably a number of you have used, and probably on your phones and elsewhere, where there's this auto summarization, or you've done a search with your favorite search engine. You've got the AI synopsis at the top. Those sort of things are happening all the time everywhere. And we all know that we can make some bad mistakes sometimes if you're having a text chat with a bunch of friends and you rely only on the summarization, so-and-so expresses gratitude. Yeah, well, they were being snarky. They weren't really expressing gratitude. They're like, thanks, you didn't do what you're supposed to do. So you can't really rely on that. Now, as we're moving more and more towards agents, and I would say in my business and in my world right now, right here, agents and agentic applications are really taking the center stage for us. So how do you define an agent? Well, it's someone that's going to be able to plan. It's something that's going to be able to code. For those of you who had said, oh, I use Claude coding, Claude is a fantastic example of the beginning of that level of agent, and it has different capabilities at different levels. The agentic applications are going to be in a space where you have multiple agents that are working together with one another. Those agents might recruit other agents if they don't have the necessary skill or information or insight to do what they need to do. And this is something that we're seeing as a design pattern moving forward very, very quickly. For those that are in the audience online or here that have had lots of experience around IT for many years, this is everything old is new again, right? Microservices were the agents, if you will, from the service-oriented architecture days. But this is now where we're heading in a major, major way. So as we're thinking about, sorry, let me come back here. If we're thinking about agents and there are different levels of that and how they manifest, we have robots. And robots are physical manifestations of agents that are usually very limited in what they can do. There are robots that will fold your laundry. And, for those of us with moms, that they would probably be thrilled to have an agent like that, that they would have work with you to get your laundry folded. There are other agents that are headless agents, meaning that they don't require a physical manifestation and that they might work across multiple different areas. So the example here is, I'm coming home from India. I really want to go see this particular show. Can you arrange my flights and buy the tickets and make it so that I can go and do what I want to do? That is sort of the world that we're moving towards very, very rapidly. So here's a fun thought experiment with you. Again, get ready to do some voting. You have an agent, you have some prompting from a physical device, maybe like a watch or something like that, or you might have a human. There's a picture of me, right? Saying, hey, you should go exercise. So for you, how would you like to be encouraged to be exercised? Would you want to be encouraged by an agent, prompted by some physical device, or by a friend? And a lot of you are giving me a lot of work here to do. So I'm going to have to be your friend, your accountability buddy, in a lot of ways here. Oh my gosh, look at this. So very human, outstripping everything else. Yeah, I kind of ignore, the rings on my watch a lot of times here too. Wow. Didn't expect that, but okay. So back to skills. I promised I was going to come back to this again here for you, and I wanted to. So what do we need now in 2026? Well, vibe coding, I mentioned that earlier, right? So that is the ability to do the prompting, kind of like that Coca-Cola design brief, right? I need help to create such and thus. Please do it. There's going to be security aspects, right? There's a problem. There's going to be a 0-day defect, or an attack vector that needs to be remediated. Those are ways that AI is going to help us. But the real intriguing thing that I'm going to see, and that I believe is coming now, like right now, this year in 2026, is the ability for an individual to be able to monitor and manage multiple agents at the same time. And I saw a graphic on this, and I did not have time to build it in here for you. But for those of you who've played with Claude or other agentic systems like this, you know that you give it a prompt, and it goes off for a little while to go do its thing. It gives you the working gears or the wrench, and it's like you can see it's working. So one of the things that I saw less than a week ago was, yes, and you have one prompt that's doing that, one agent that's working, and that you are going to kick off multiple other agents that are going to work on things in parallel, and that you're going to need what I've called in the past a mother hen who's going to assimilate and bring the output of those multiple agents back together in something approaching what makes sense. And at the center of all of that, the mother hen, the individual agents, is the human. And the human is going to have to live and work with those agents and with other humans to accomplish a goal. Some of you are going to do that today, like right after this. Some of you are going to do that when you hit the university. Some of you are going to do that a little bit later. But this is a design pattern that I'm seeing right now that I believe is really crucial for us to know and understand. So when we talk about things like project management, Project management used to be a discipline in and of its own. And project management is easily applicable to an agent to be able to say, oh, I'm going to orchestrate all of these tasks that need to get done. I need a design. I need to have a user experience. I need to have a database. I need to have data, right? You would have different individuals potentially that do each of those. A database administrator would be very skilled in how do you set up the databases and make sure they're running efficiently and effectively. Could there be an agent to do that? I think the answer is yes. Could there be a project manager agent that's going to look after that one and orchestrate what needs to happen with the user experience agent? I think the answer is yes. But there needs to be a human overall, and there needs to be a human who's got those jellyfish skills and are able to assimilate what has happened in art and architecture and food and other aspects to create the new and be able to guide it. That's where you guys come in, right? That's where you come in. So I have a really positive experience about all of this, and I think it's a really positive future for us, and it bodes well for the kind of education you're getting here at the School of Science and Math. And for those of you that are not at the School of Science and Math that are part of the hackathon event, these are open opportunities for you too, and there are ways to seek them. So I've got a few thought experiments I'm going to take you through here just to think about. One is which I'm calling disposable software. So just like with a jellyfish skill, there's a tendril. You learn something, you experience and do something. You might not need it forever, right? There's a reusable version of this, like the reusable milk bottles here that you send back. And there are disposable versions as well. You know, my coffee is in that Yeti mug down there, and I use it again and again. But there are times when if I'm getting on a flight, I don't want to carry around a coffee mug that I have to wash and stuff. So there are reasons for this. Same thing works for software. Interesting thought experiment. Second one, there's ideas of avatars, and we've seen lots of this. And some of these are a little newish. They showed up at the Consumer Electronics Show earlier this year, some of which have been around for years. These are physical manifestations, holographic manifestations of agents for interacting with. They might be for companionship. They might be for accomplishing a coding task or whatever. I think that you're going to see more and more of these sort of things into the future. Hardware devices. We've had some successes, sort of, kind of, and then some colossal non-successes. The AI pin from Humane, I thought was going to be amazing. Little device you would have, and it would be able to listen to you, and you'd be able to interact with it. But, you know, how's that different from your phone? How's that different from an agent that could be in a container, a little, they can tote around here too. And there's more of this stuff that's coming around right now too. Like Bee was acquired by Amazon just recently, and that is a strip that you wear around here, and then you could interact with an AI that way. Again, could I do that with my existing devices? I think so, but watch this space. There'll be some new things that are coming here. What about glasses, right? There's all kinds of stuff that can be here around glasses, both for recording things, for augmented reality, showing you things like, oh, I know we talked, didn't we? We talked last week. What did we talk about? Oh, it shows up on my screen, right? And I'm able now to interact with you. There's some interesting things that are going to come, I think, with glasses too. All right, so we're coming in for the close here. A couple of key thoughts on security and quantum and getting connected. So new frontiers in security. One of them that I love, and this is something you can go and play with right now. This is if you just look up Gandalf and AI, you can go and have an attack vector against the little baby Gandalf and try to get Gandalf to tell you what the passcode is, right? You create prompts to have Gandalf tell you what the passcode is. And then every time you win, it gets harder and harder and harder. Fun experiment to go do, and it's a level of prompt injection that is a different level of security than what we've seen before. Now, as I promised for the humanities deep people in here, there's a really cool thing that I came across in a paper around adversarial poetry. So there are ways that using metaphor, simile, poetry, you can get the Gandalfs of the world to give you the secret code and the passcode, and you jailbreak the way the prompts work. If I've piqued your curiosity, great paper. You've got the links. Go check it out. Really fun stuff. There are all kinds of zero-day exploits that are happening on a regular basis. And there are fantastic ways of doing AI operations management where you uncover the zero-day exploit, you isolate it, and you remediate it. And so this is a cat and mouse game of AI is finding exploits, AI is fixing exploits, and how do you do that in a fast enough way? Quantum. Okay. You saw in my circles, in my bubbles, it's an area of my great, I love thinking about this. I love thinking about quantum mechanics. For those of you that are at science and math and in your physics classes, drink up everything you possibly can. Quantum computing is not fully here yet, but it will be very, very soon in terms of humanity timeframes for sure. And there's some neat things that are going to happen here. The biggest of the bunch in my mind is it's going to unlock speed in a way that you're able to do things in a near simultaneous fashion. The whole idea of a block sphere and the way that you're determining where is the electron in that block sphere is you're doing it in one shot. You're finding it in one. You're not slicing the sphere from the top to the bottom. Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? No, no, no. In quantum, boom, once. So that is going to be amazing in terms of the speed up that you're going to be able to do when you have multiple agents all working at the same time to find the answer to the problem. Again, if you saw the Claude experience or others where you get the little wrench working, that's where quantum is going to be absolutely amazing. And it's going to solve problems like the postman's dilemma. It's going to solve problems like how do I create fertilizer from ammonium nitrate in a way that's much more effective and efficient than what we can do today. If you have the chance to study this, do, because your understanding of this space is going to make a huge difference. I won't take you through IBM's quantum roadmap. We just announced an update to this 2 days ago. I did not get a chance to put it into the chart deck, but the link there will get you where you need to go. And this is a great combination of hardware and software of the things that you need to do. All right, so bringing us home to close us out here, and we are doing awesome for time here in the end. I have a first big special point for any NCSSMers that are here on the stairs or in Durham in the audience, and that is, as you're graduating, make sure that you join the Alumni Association. You're automatic members. You're going to find yourselves in a community of other people who want to help you and want to help you find the opportunities that you need to do. So don't blow it off. Don't be like, oh, I'll get to it later. Find your $5, that you're donating. It doesn't cost you anything to be there, but start giving back because this is a lifelong commitment. It's not a 2-year, it's not a 20-year, it's a 40+ year endeavor for all of you. So for you science mathers, super important. You want to set yourself up for massive success. These are several tips that you've heard me say in one way or another already throughout this talk. You find your way getting together with other people, show up for events, do what you're doing right now because you're on the right path. The lighthouse here is really indicative of what you're doing for SMathHacks today is going to make an enormous difference in the future because your grades are important, but what it is that you do and your portfolio, kind of like an artist when you think about it. Here's my GitHub repository. Here's the projects I worked on. Here's the things that actually won an award at a hackathon. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me about that. No one's ever going to say, tell me about the A that you got in that math class. They will never, ever do it, right? So you're on the right path. You're doing the right things. Where can you find me later? If you want to. So I run a podcast that I do on a weekly basis. I've been doing it for now 12, 14, whatever, how many years. It's called Games at Work. And we talk about game and gaming technology and how it's applied into business. The last episode we recorded was an awful lot about Lego because Lego just announced those new cool smart bricks, which I think are going to be really intriguing about how do you get even younger kids more engaged and involved and into the robotics set and into the future. So we talk about cool stuff and you can find me there. I'm all over the socials. So if you want to find me on LinkedIn, I can be your friend. I might not be able to tell you to exercise, but you can certainly be my friend there. And I'm on Mastodon and Blue Sky, and I've kind of wound down my experience on Twitter for probably obvious reasons. And one more thing, kind of in the Steve Jobs notion. So for those of you that remember the convocation speech and the playlist that I created for you there, I did a little bit of a playlist for you here. This is just a little bit more fun. That there's not as much meaning behind each song, but if you want to have a few songs to kind of get you in the mood for doing some coding, there's a really cool hackathon song in this playlist. I'll let you go and discover that on your own because I think that might be fun for you too. And it's on those bit.ly links. And you have access to this presentation deck too, so you'll be able to go see that. And with that, I'm just going to say the future is bright. This is one of my favorite songs. You guys are going to do some amazing, amazing things in the next 36 hours. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much. Go forth and conquer. Yes.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here, and great job to Mr. Martine. Wonderful keynote presentation. I'm sure we learned a lot about like AI and integration, how we need to move forward. So one thing I quickly want to reiterate is that we have 2 workshops today that you have to attend. So we have a total of 4, and of those, 2 of them are mandatory. So these will be hosted from 11 to 12 p.m. and then additionally from 2 to 3 p.m. So please make sure you attend both of these, and you have an option of 4 choices, basically. And so these will be hosted, and they're all on the schedule as well. So please be on the lookout for this. This will be a main part. And of course, this will enter you into our NVIDIA Shield Pro raffle, and these are mandatory workshops. So we expect attendance, and attendance will be logged. In addition to this, we additionally have information regarding our picture. So before you guys head to breakfast, we have a wonderful breakfast prepared on both campuses. We will be doing a picture. So everyone, please stay where you are, and we'll organize this as well to make sure everyone has a great experience. And finally, I want to say good luck to everyone hacking this weekend, whether you're online, virtual, or you're residential as well. You guys will do a great job. So happy hacking, everyone. All right. So what we'll do is we'll have volunteers go in the section, and yeah, we'll